skill. So if you feel it is a profession, type P in the chat window. If you feel it is a life skill, then type LS. Okay, LS. Okay. Looks like right now it is. Oh, LS is winning like anything. So it looks like majority. Why do you think it is a life skill? Can you just type some answers now? Why do you think it is a life skill? Don't worry about right and wrong answer, because when you share, na, it helps you as well as others. Why do you think it is a life skill? Okay, it both art and science. Thanks, Jachandra. Sales and marketing inevitable. Sriram, thank you. Sales is part, not just the work life. It is part of anything that we do. Thank you, Sujit. Necessity is the mother of invention. We all sell all the time to everyone. Yes. So in my first book, The Ultimate Sales Accelerator, I had written there are 7.7 billion salespeople on earth, because we all are selling either a product or a service or an idea. So right now I'm selling ideas. So therefore you're correct. Sales is a fundamental life skills, and the most for which there is no training formally. People think that you will learn sales on its own. So thanks to the Dr. Shriram and the cybersecurity COE who has initiated this workshop. Hopefully I will share certain things and I will also learn a lot from all of you. So now this session is based on the book Small is Big. So let's watch this video. Now I can't play the video because it will not work here. So what Harshit will do is he will share the video link. I would request each one of you to watch the video. It is around 1 minute 22 seconds. Once you watch, come back again. Harshit, could you please share the link in the chat? So broadcast to all. This is the YouTube video link. You can please watch this. Okay, have you watched the video? Have you watched the video?
Yes.
Okay, so if you could, what is the one thing? What did you learn from the video? Is there anything particularly which connected with you the most? Aishwarya Ashish Mishra has raised the hand. Yeah, please keep a tab on who is raising the hand. Yeah. So what is the one thing which connected as you watched the video? What connected with you the most? What was your one takeaway?
Small habits.
Yeah, you can actually type here, small habits is for you. What about others? You can please type in the Q&A window.
Ashish can talk now. You're unable to talk. Purna, you can as well answer.
Sorry, is somebody speaking?
Purna, you can talk.
Micro changes are important in our day-to-day life.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Purna. Anybody else who wants to type or speak?
So there are some, some answers in the chat. So
Okay.
we can just read that out.
But I am not able to see. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. It's a 10-minute meetings, time management. Sales is joy. Remove clutter. Small pause. Yeah. Sorry, it hanged the. So therefore, thank you very much for consistency matters more, no matter how small the habit is. What a profound statement. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. Okay. So with that, can you guys see my screen back, Aishwarya, Harshit?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's start the first one, which is negotiate effectively using power of small. So you would have heard about negotiation classes, a lot of these things. Using small for negotiation would be very interesting. And what happens when you use small is two things will happen. Either you will expedite negotiations or you will experience no need for negotiation. So moving from win-lose to win-win. So let's do a poll. Why don't you launch a poll, Harshit? Which one mindset needs to be cultivated for win-win negotiation?
Yeah, I started.
Yeah. Will I not see the poll, Harshit?
I will. It is there in the polls. Amit.
No. Once you launch it, will I be able to see it or only the participants?
So you can see it in the polls window if you want.
Okay.
I'll publish the result if you in a few minutes.
Oh, it's already launched, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Is it time to launch the result, Harshit?
Yeah. I have published the result.
I see is 71% of you have said partner mindset, 15 consultant mindset, 7% expert mindset, and 5% client is God mindset. So partner mindset actually wins, and this is the answer. Partner mindset will fuel win-win negotiation. Again, just to double check, you can see my screen, Harshit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So with this partner mindset, now before we go to small, let's do, whenever we go for negotiation, what to do before negotiation. A lot of time people say during negotiation. We'll talk about it in a moment. But what to do before negotiation? First is keep your calendar free. Because when you say calendar free, your mind is also free. If you're going for an important meeting and it is chock-a-block day, then what you will negotiate? Your mind itself is not free. So negotiation is it requires very high state of awareness, and for that remember, one part of small is big is removing clutter. So which means keeping yourself free. The second is embrace resourceful state. This is so important. Imagine you're going to a meeting, even if your calendar is free, you're very worried. Oh, what will happen? This guy will not agree. This client will not agree. They have already pressurized me, this and that and all. But then how can you embrace resourceful state? One is meditation. If you meditate before going to negotiation, you will be in resourceful state. Or remember any past win-win negotiation. So when you remember something resourceful, so if you have done very well in a negotiation, you can remember it. Just think about the details of what happened. You will immediately, your state will change. And the third one is, whomsoever you are meeting, you thank your team and the client for all the work they have done till now, because you have reached the negotiation stage, which is almost closure stage. So you thank them. What will happen? Your state will change. You will become resourceful. And the third one is visualize the win-win outcome. So before you go, suppose you are going for a deal discussion, what do you want out of it? If you can visualize that win-win outcome, are you visualizing, let's say you both are shaking hands, smiling, or having tea, or after that, once the negotiation is done, you guys are partying, your team, whatever is the visualization you visualize. If you do these three things before negotiation, you will enter the negotiation with a resourceful state. Is this clear? Is this clear, please? Okay. I see. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now let's say focus on small in negotiations. So we'll take three examples. First example. So these are three examples. First is in life. Remember, we say sales is a life skill. So the first is life. The other two are business. So let's take the first one, which is how my two sons, their age at that point of time was 15 and 12. They agreed to do meditation using power of small. So I went to Vipassana meditation, and there the teacher told me that meditation is like giving food to your mind. It was very profound, that meditation is like giving food to your mind. So we eat 3 times food. For how many hours or minutes we are giving food to the mind? So not only, of course, I have been practicing meditation, it made my practice better. I thought, let me influence my kids to do meditation. So I asked them, meditation is food to their mind. They listened, it was good, but nothing happened. So I said, let us meditate. Nothing happened. Then I say, what is your age? He said 12. What is your age? Other one said 15. He said, how many minutes you have to meditate? He said 12 and 15, because somewhere they have learned that whatever is your age, that is the amount of minutes you have to meditate. That we have learned in one of a meditation course. So I said, okay, it is just 12 and 15. You can't, why don't you meditate 12 and 15 minutes every day? So nothing happened. Then I said following, see here. So 14 minutes age of my elder son, 11 minutes age are less than 1% of 1440 minutes, because there are 1440 minutes in a day. 1% of 1440 is 14. And 14 and 11 are less than 1%. So when I said this, immediately their face was lit. Oh, they were surprised. And then I said, can you give less than 1% of your day to meditation? I could see that their words were making a difference. This is the actual excerpt from the book, page 50. Now they were opening up to the possibility of meditating. And building on that, I said, how about doing it over weekend, just Saturdays and Sundays? Both agreed immediately. Do you see the power of small? From getting adults doing meditation is difficult. Getting kids doing meditation in a time when this digital distraction is number one. So if you notice, there were two elements of small. What are the two elements of small in this conversation? Can somebody tell me? Note this down and please type. What are the two elements of small which made this sale happen, this negotiation happen? It was a no sale earlier. Okay. 1% and weekends only. Thank you, Jay Chandra. 1% and Excel percentage and number of days. Yes. 40 minutes. Oh, absolutely. All of you are correct. So you understand the word small. If you ask somebody, I have a small request, and you change, I have a request, and I have a big request. 3 words. Which one is more persuasive? I have a small request. I have a big request. I have a request. 3 options. Which one is more persuasive? Please type. I have a small request. I have big request. I have a request. Which one is more persuasive? Is it refreshing? Because I can't see the responses. Yes. The word small is the most persuasive word. So in this case, we have not used the word small. We have used the element of small, 1%. And did you get this Saturday and Sunday 1%? You got it? You guys can use emojis also, if you, in virtual world. Okay, good. So now the second example, this is in a business setup. So this is peak pandemic, and the CEO, chief operating officer, and CMO, chief marketing officer of a QSR brand. So QSR, like KFC, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, these kind of restaurants, QSR, one of the large QSR brand. They didn't negotiate on subscription pricing. So we were selling personalization and marketing automation software, analytics software. It is a SaaS subscription, So I've just given an example. I've changed the numbers, of course. So the option was all modules, 9 lakh rupees per month. In peak pandemic, people were willing to sell on free because they wanted to utilize, gain some experience. Even big companies was selling at huge discounts, unheard of. So the price was 9 lakhs, and this we had given earlier, and then pandemic came, so it couldn't close for 6 months. After 6 months in peak pandemic, they were open. But I was thinking, at what price will it close? Because it was shown 9 lakhs. And again, numbers are changed. Just for example, 9 lakhs. If they say 1 lakh, 2 lakh, what will happen? You understood the problem before I give you the solution? You understood the problem? Peak pandemic, price shared 6 months earlier, and a price of 9 lakh rupees per month in SaaS. Okay, understood. Now see what happened. This is what we did, is instead of quoting 9 lakhs, we quoted like this. Module 1, again, I have removed the software names and all. Module 1 base pack, 2 lakh. Module 1 advanced pack, 0.75 lakh. Module 2, 1.75. Module 3, 2. Infrastructure pricing, 2.5. Total becomes 9. And you observe dates are also, because it's peak pandemic, we have given some that you can start this one here, you can start this after 2-3 months. This. What do you think happened after seeing this? What do you think happened? Actually, the answer is already there above, so it's wrong for me to ask. Yeah, so basically when they saw this, and they already had this price of 9 lakhs 6 months before. What I just did is, in peak pandemic, if I would have given 9 lakhs, it would have become 3 lakh, 2 lakh, gone. Are you getting me? But what I did is, anyhow, I was writing a book, I knew this, that the power of small. So I broke them down. And the option is, if you don't want, strike it off. But I know that they want all of them. It's very difficult to negotiate on it, because what is the price? 0.75. What basis will you negotiate? Are you getting it? Are you getting this? Yes, small impact on their budget. When you make things small, the ability to negotiate becomes difficult. And if you understand this one-liner in your personal life, professional life, whether it is your wife, girlfriend, mother, son, you use the power of small. It will work. If you with your boss, I just need this one thing done. Could you please help me with this small thing? Done. And if you use in a real complex B2B sales example, this is complex B2B sales. In this this is perhaps the most complex. In peak pandemic, no discount. People should get double promotion for this. You got it? Okay. Now this is an example. Now you understood this. Now you do this. This is a live exercise. So each one of you, please read. I'll explain the exercise, and then you do. You have to do, and then you have to share. If you want to speak, you can speak. Raise your hand. You speak. This is a live exercise. So this was again peak pandemic. In fact, the second wave, the most harsh wave, the second wave came in March, April last year. That point of time, we were signing one of the larger retailers, and they were buying a software. They were one of the first people to buy the software in entire India. And as you can see, we really wanted to make a sale, but they had taken 4 software modules to personalize customer experience on 15 websites and 15 apps. So you can see how big it is. In SaaS world, typical implementation is very low. Pandemic times also had resulted in cost cutting. Your total implementation price is coming to 81.6 lakh, very high. It is supposed to be 0 or 2 lakh, 3 lakh in SaaS world, but that is not the case. And the challenge is pandemic. First, SaaS doesn't require very large amount of implementation. Second, pandemic, nobody wants to give. Your total implementation price coming to 81.6 lakh. Seeing this very high price, you are worried that client will be very angry and cancel the deal. Please use all pricing vectors, negotiation principles, and power of small to complete this exercise. Is the exercise clear? You can take a screenshot if you want. Is the exercise clear? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Vishal says yes. Kedar says okay. So please, I will give you some time, around 2 minutes. You please reflect on it, and then you can raise your hand. If you want to type, you can please type. If you want to speak, please raise your hand. Yeah? So here is the exercise. No. Okay. Are you
So
guys?
I think Lakshmi Das asked a question, sir. Why is the implementation cost so high?
That is not the you have to there is a this is a problem statement given, correct? Why it is high is a company's strategy, correct? Now the problem is you can't change. That's the power of negotiation. Na? You have this problem, how will you solve it? You can't go back to your implementation team and say why it is high. It is high. This is the way it goes. How you as a salesperson will do it? That is the brilliance of sales. Na? Okay. Somebody, yeah, so somebody raised their hand. Let them speak, please. Prashant Sahu. Okay.
Yeah, Prashant, you can speak.
Prashant, yeah, go ahead.
So the situation is the same like the previous situation. Here there are 4 modules.
Yeah.
So 4 module and 15 app.
Yes.
So what I will sit with them and check the possibility based on the need of their app, which software they need first. So suppose there are 4 software, I'll understand which software they need first. So
Okay.
based on that, and there is some timeline because 4 software maybe need 4 different timeline. So I'll go with I will divide these 4 1 based on the requirement, and I'll give you different timeline. So with this, the customer maybe there is a chance of convince.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Nice to.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Who else? Vishal, yeah. Vishal and Trinath. Yeah.
Srinath, you can speak.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, instead of asking the client to pay upfront, we'll ask them to pay in small pieces, like I would say, in multiple times.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for sharing. Trinath. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Vishal. And Prasoon. I think 2 more and then we'll move on. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Jaychandra, you can speak.
Yeah. Hello, Amit sir.
Yeah.
What actually we call it as every piece of work carved out and given to us, we do the project management, right? In project management, we call it as a progressive elaboration. You progressively elaborate the items, what are the requirements from the clients, right? So you progressively elaborate the items, and for each item, you do the sub items, all those stuff. Like it is called dividing into small chunks. Okay, and for those chunks, you can apportion the cost also, and subsequently apportioned cost can be charged to the client in different time frames.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jayachandra. Very nice. Thank you. Now, Lakshmi Prasoon, do you want to share quickly? Because we have to move to other also. So if you have something compelling, you really want to share, go ahead quickly.
This is Prasoon, and
Yeah.
As the first speaker and the last speaker has said, both these approaches. Additionally, there could be, because cost is an important factor, and therefore there could be a total cost workout actually, and which could be given as an amortized kind of a solution over a particular term, in which you can add support and all that for your application. So
yes.
So it's a partnering mode, in which you figure out the timeline of implementation and then give an amortized cost model.
Excellent. Prasoon, Jayachandra, I think the other two, who mentioned, thank you for sharing, really appreciate it. Now you want to know what actually happened? You guys really want to know what actually happened?
Yes, sure.
Okay, only you want to know. Remaining others in Q&A, there's nothing coming.
No, sure, we'd like to know.
Yeah, no, see, my style of training is that you have to interact with me, otherwise I will sleep. Okay, so what happened is this. So look at this. Total option was total of 15 brands, 81.6 lakh. But this is not what we did. What we did is this. Per brand, for each brand, there are 15 brands. I'm not asking you to make live all 15 brands now. For each brand, for website and app, and for 4 modules, these are the hours which are required. Look at this. These are the hours. Now, this is don't make all brands live, only make 2 live. We are not saying we will make 15 live. The second is within each brand, don't make mobile app live. Don't make third module live. Why do you need to make all modules live? You understand? The moment you break it into small, I think it was somebody, I forgot the name, who mentioned it, broke down. That is the power of small. If you break down things in a where negotiation becomes very difficult. Imagine at 30, now what will the person say? Make it 27. What nonsense. You understand? Moment if you remove all of this and you say 170, suddenly, if you add 170 10t, you say 272 for website and app, then problem. But the moment it is done like this, and it was not even a detailed project plan, we had just done like this exactly. I've actually copy pasted with numbers changed here and there. Even the T&M rate is changed. So no negotiation, zero. In peak pandemic. Did you understand the power of small with these examples? I've given you 3 examples. One which was in life, the other one in B2B sales, the third one was an exercise. Okay, guys, any questions before we move to the second sutra? You can type. I am seeing a lot of emojis, but you can type also. Any questions? Okay, good. So I'm moving to the, run this poll. This is the last section of the negotiation before. Run this poll, Arshit, please.
Everyone, you can just vote in the polls, in the polls tab. What shall be avoided for effective negotiation?
Okay, Arshit, can you share the
Yeah,
result?
you can see it in the polls, the result. They would be
Aggression and blame 92%, having coffee 3%, dressing appropriately 3%. Okay, what shall be avoided for ineffective? So everybody said aggression and blame, which is the right answer. So with this, we have covered the first sutra. The second one is magic of one thing in sales. Fuel a success chain reaction in sales by focusing on less. So when you hear one thing, what comes to your mind? Have you heard the word Pareto Principle? Have you heard Pareto Principle? Have you heard?
No,
Pareto?
Amit.
Yeah, 2080. Okay, very good. So yeah, so Pareto Principle, just to give an example, if somebody says, your CEO tells you, or a board member tells you that, why don't you identify, 20 things which can improve sales? He said, sure. So you will identify 20 things. Once you identify 20 things, now they say apply Pareto Principle. So Pareto Principle says that 20% of things gives 80% results. So that 20% of 20 is 4. Correct? So you will find, okay, these are the 4 things. If you improve these 4 things, it will 80% of the problems will be solved. Okay. Now, what one thing does is that one thing keeps applying Pareto Principle on that remaining 4 until you get one thing. 1. So 4 is there. You again apply 20% of 4. So it becomes 0.8 or 1. If the same example was 100, then you would have said 100, 20% is 20. Then 20% of 20 is 4, and then 20% of 4 is 0.8 or 1. So keep applying Pareto Principle unless you get one thing. And this is based on one book called The One Thing, which actually says, is entirely based on this question: what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? Now, this book actually changed my life, because on December 28, 2017, this was a New Year time frame, and I actually was looking at those, the, what is it called, those yearly resolutions, which I was regularly irregular. I will think and agree on a lot of things, do nothing. So this time I was reading The One Thing, and I said, what is the one habit I can develop in 2018 such that by developing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? And you know what the answer was? The answer was join 5 a.m. club. Wake up at 5 a.m. In my new book, The Small is Big, I have mentioned detail about it, which is, I call it as micro habit. One habit, what change it can do. So this one habit of waking up at 5 a.m. It was very difficult to wake up on 5 a.m. on, I think, January 2nd, 2018, relatively cold in Bangalore. The body said, don't wake up. Mind said, you have only agreed on one thing, my dear. Again, the power of small, because you can negotiate with yourself better. So my mind said to the body, dear body, we have only agreed only on one thing. Please help this person in waking up. I woke up. And then what happened? This is what is called domino effect. When you line up things like this and you press, they fall one after the other. So waking up at 5 a.m. when I woke up, the first thing which I did is I looked at the book rack, and I developed reading as a habit. The domino is not here because of the space problem. Reading as a habit. Then I developed meditation as a habit, because I have time. I'm waking up 5 a.m. What to do? Then exercising daily. So, I live in outskirts of Bangalore, among beautiful suburbs. It will appear as if you are in Goa. So, I started cycling there daily. I will go for around 4 kilometers, 2 kilometers up and down. 17 minutes it will take me. And cycling during sunrise, around that 6 a.m. Beautiful. Then, because of this, I started going to office early. Because of which I started coming to home early. Because of this, I started eating early, around 7:15 I will. Because of this, after 7:15, 7 to around 9:30, I will be with my kids. This also gave me another thing, that because of this, I started practicing gratitude. And more importantly, since the time I'm started waking up, I've written 2 books. And I'm full-time working. All this is happening because of one thing. What is that one thing? What is that one thing? Can you please type what is that one thing? All this is happening because of the one thing. What was the one thing?
Because you wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m.
Yeah, I would request you guys to type, please, because then everybody can, I would request everybody to type, because I can see it. Yes, that one thing is 5 a.m. That is the power of one thing. It creates domino effect. If you solve, I call it in my book, small is big as micro habit. Now, using one thing in sales. So I've given 3 areas: client engagement, sales planning, team, and process. So if you see, when you are engaging clients, we go for client meetings. We have so many things to achieve. Whenever I go for a client meeting, I always think, I will tell you, yesterday I was in a client meeting, and there were a lot of senior executives part of it, including, and CEO was also preparing. And I told, the only thing I want to achieve in this client meeting is get the workshop date. Nothing else. They had several other things. What is the scope? I said, if time permits, we'll do it. But if you ask me, the only thing we want to do, one thing is get that workshop date. And when I started the conversation, I put it in such a way that within 5 minutes, I got the workshop date. Now the focus is on one thing, not on 3 things or 5 things. Similarly, if you go to a client and you have to present only one slide, which one would you present? If you ask me in this entire presentation towards the end, if somebody is curious, you ask me, Mr. Agarwal, you were teaching us about one slide. If you had to present only one slide among so many slides, which one you would have presented? I would answer you. I always plan that if I have to present only one slide, wherever I'm going, which will be that one? So it's a habit pattern, this one thing. Small is big. Did you get this part? Client engagement? Please type yes or no, because these are very important concepts, typically not heard in most places. Typical sales training and all do not cover all of these. I think somebody has a question. Nikhil has a question. Yes, Nikhil, please enable the mic for him. Yeah, please enable the mic for him quickly, because we are running short of time then.
Yeah. I'm doing it. So Nikhil, if you want something, you can unmute yourself and speak. You're unmuted. You can also speak.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I think it was a mistake.
No problem. Okay. So the second is sales planning. Now, in sales planning, we want to achieve so many things. So the question which I recommend people asking is like I asked, what is the one thing I can achieve in sales in this quarter such that it will de-risk the entire year? And the answer was that if I get 60 plus leads in this quarter, that is done. And the answer for you would be different. The whole idea of this is using one thing, micro habit, in sales. Team and process. What is the one capability my sales team can develop in Q1 for predictable closures? For me, it was something called board deck. I will show you as a third sutra. One capability, creating a board deck. So these are some examples of how you can use. There can be a number of examples. I have only given few. Now this is the example from my first book. So you will have to read it. Just read this, please. How Ashwin Khashnas used one thing for closing a deal. Please read it. So as you notice, the one thing can be leveraged in several other things. So you can say for each person, what is the one thing you really want rather than 3 things? And when you get it out and when you address it, your chances of closures are very high. This is another example too, which we use in our CRM, where in CRM, what we have done is we have created, you have task in CRM, correct? But we have created another thing called priority task, which can be only 3. So I wanted you to do 1, but 1 would be very less, therefore I have not done. But basically for every opportunity, I only ask I run a report in which says what are the up to top 3 tasks. I'm not interested in more than that. And within that top 3, whenever we have reviews, I say, which is the number 1? So people tell me. And I also remember, okay, for this account, this is. Are you getting it? Are you getting this? The power of small? Yeah, so this one is very powerful from an activity perspective in task. Whenever you meet somebody, either your manager or if you are a manager, somebody say, okay, tell me what you are doing. If you tell them, I will only tell you 3 things which will move this deal, and among them, the only 1 thing. Or if you are so confident, say, I will only tell you the 1 thing which we need to focus. What do you think? They will respect you, or they will say you are a fool? What will they think? Respect, feeling of respect will come, or feeling of what shall I say, the negative word? Let's say this person doesn't know anything. What will come to your seniors when you respect? Yes. People like, small while is easy is very difficult also. If you ask somebody to speak, remember in the video, 18 minutes, only 18 minutes, very difficult. You ask somebody to speak for 1.5 hours, anybody can speak. Respect. If you want to garner respect, the more pointed you become, and the becoming pointed is 3 things and 1 thing, 3 things and 1 thing. Now this question, which visual symbol, now very important if you can answer this, which visual symbol can help you remember the power of 1 thing? Visual, I want you to use 1 symbol. I will show you the answer, but I use, just to give you a hint, I use the word couple of times or more than couple of times. 1 thing creates dash. That is the symbol. What is that symbol? What is that symbol? Which visual symbol can help you remember the power of 1 thing? Om, very nice. Small, okay. Visual. Om is a visual element. Small is not. Small, okay, yeah. So maybe you're thinking something very small. Yeah, that could be. Yeah. What else? What else? Thank you, Kedarnath and Lakshmi. What else? See, whatever is coming, please share. Okay, the answer is domino effect. Remember this, when you focus on 1 thing, it creates a domino effect. Remember the 5 a.m. thing. If you get 1 thing right, it will create a domino effect. So remember this as a visual of domino. This will remind you of only focusing on this domino. Okay. You can do this. Let me ask you here itself, why after the exercise, where in your business or in life, in sales or in life, you can use 1 thing. Can somebody write, or if you want to speak, where you can use 1 thing principle we just discussed, either in sales or in life or anywhere else? Just 1, when you share, it will be very nice. Okay. What is the 1 thing where you can apply 1 thing? Okay. Yeah, you, Lakshmi and Jayachandra, you can speak, please. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to understand what is the number 1 pain point for the customer. Okay.
Very nice.
there could be so many things for the clients, but what is that one pain point which addresses or which triggers the domino effect in a positive way?
Precisely. This is what this guy did. If you see this, no? Security protocols, ROI, compliance, customer support, business, whatever is the one pain point or one wish. In your case, one pain point. Thank you very much. Yeah. Lakshmi, you want to speak, please?
Is that one thing that you would reject me for or you would accept me for? I mean, why would you?
Lakshmi, for you, if I stand, you will not see my face because this is a camera. It's standing ovation. One
Oh,
thing,
thank you.
this is a very profound statement. In fact, I also talk to my wife sometimes, while walking. We go every day on a walk and we use one thing. We say, what is the one thing we can do? If there is one thing I need to improve, or what is the one thing we can do in vacation this time? We use one thing structure left and right. So acceptance and not acceptance is very powerful. Thanks for sharing, Lakshmi. Okay, Prashant, you want to share something there?
Yes, Amit.
Yeah.
So I'll since we are into the B2B platform,
Yeah.
I'll ask to the customer what the customer is saying about us. One thing I want to do.
You guys are in a different league, man. I am learning so much from you. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. This is very profound. I keep on telling my team also, and wherever I present, that if you look from the lens of customer, a lot of time in B2B sales, we actually think that, whomsoever we are selling, whether it is a retailer or an insurance company or, whatever it is, that is our client. But actually, if you pitch the pain of the customer, then the sale is likely to happen more, isn't it? So thanks, Prashant, for sharing that. So I will move to the third. This is some exercise which you can do in your post, and I will share this deck with you, Harshit, and you can share the link, the deck to everybody. So no need to take screenshots and all. You will get the deck.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the one case study I can present to my client? A lot of time when I talk to people, they say, I will present 5. Why 5, man? If you have done research for me, present only 1 to me. If I have to only show 1 slide, then what is the one thing I need to stop? I think something which Lakshmi was saying during our sales process. So a lot of time we say start, but stop. So one of the things which I did is then I decreased the number of meetings, reviews. So many reviews, man. When is the time to do actual sales? So you can ask the question yourself, whatever is the answer you get. And these are just 3 examples. You can use this structure for many examples. Is the one thing structure clear? Is the one thing structure clear, folks?
Yeah, you can just, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So the last one is board deck. Increase conversions by answering just 3 questions. Now, this is relevant in all contexts, very, very relevant in complex B2B sales. Now, if I ask you what is complex B2B sales, what would you reply? What is complex B2B sales? What is complex B2B sales?
The question is, what is complex in B2B sales?
What is complex B2B sales? So there is, selling a software. I mean, I don't want to name, but let's say there's a software, HubSpot, Freshworks, then buying a TV, and then buying a ERP, buying a core banking system. These are different software. Buying Pareto. What is complex B2B sales? I said what I'm about to share is very useful in all sales. Is very most useful in complex B2B sales.
The concept selling itself is very, very, very complex.
So correct. The complex, just to just order 6 copies of the book. Ajit, thank you very much. Thank you very much for, I hope the book serves you and your team well. Thank you. Long sales cycle, Rajendra. If I stand up, okay, I'm trying. Long sales cycle is one criteria for complex B2B sales. And what is long? Long starts from anywhere from 4 months, typically 6 months to 1.5 years. That is one criteria of complex B2B sales. The second criteria is somebody is written is number of buyers involved. The number is 7. If your buyers are more than 7, then it is complex B2B sales. Third criteria, the product itself is complex. And how do you judge the complexity? Implementation time. There are a lot of SaaS software live like this. But certain software, if you take ERP, if you take core banking, even it is on SaaS, it can't be implemented in one day. Complex B2B sales. So these are the 3 key elements. Longer sales cycle. One is longer implementation because complexity of product. Third is buyers. And the fourth is high price. In SaaS world, high price starts from 250K ACV. Annual. If you are able to charge 250K ACV in SaaS world, it is considered to be high. Earlier it was 100. This is my definition. It's not academic, it's my definition. 250K ACV. So if you are addressing these elements, make a sale complex. Now, what is the board deck? So before we go to the board deck, please run this poll. Go ahead. Go ahead, please, Harshit. Why is conversion rate low in B2B sales? Improper lead qualification, lack of sales mentoring, more focus on wining and dining.
So you can just go to the polls, Amit, and see them.
But if I click on the result, then they will see the result, correct?
Yeah, it's already I think we have 40 people who have voted. 40.
Okay. So it says improper lead. Hey, you guys are in a different league. Thank you very much for. Yeah, all of these are the reasons, by the way. If you'd be wondering why all of these are not written as the fourth option. There's a reason purposely. Because you have to, again, one thing, that mindset has to be cultivated. You choose one only. So improper lead qualification is, in my assessment also, and thanks for agreeing with me, this is the number one reason. And of course, a lot of this will happen for several other things, but improper lead qualification. Now, what can you do? The board deck helps clients in building a business case and helps the salesperson, which is you and me, qualify deals. And it happened because of a reason. So what happened is that we were talking to one Southeast Asia client, and the person was head of strategy. And the person told, we were talking to him, I think almost 6-7 months, and the person told, and he was very, very, concerned. And he said, what will I present to my board? What will I present to my board? I could sense that concern in his voice, head of strategy, thinking about what to present to board. So then I created this board deck structure which said, what will your client champion, not you, sorry, this is what will your client champion present to his or her board to get approval for this project and highlight you as a vendor of choice? Did you get the question? What will your client champion present to his or her board? You are not presenting, your client champion is presenting to his or her board to get approval for this project, and not only project, select you. To answer this, we created a structure called board deck, which answered 3 questions. It's a narrative. And if you answer these 3 questions, almost 90% deal is yours. Why will I not say 100%? Certainty is not there for anything in today's world. First question is, why do client name, whatever is client name, let's say, whatever is the client name, why do client A need this solution? Why do client A need it now? Because he need it, but need it now. Why do client A need it from you, your company name? You get the structure. This may appear very simple. I can tell you, filling this, people shiver. If somebody, a sales and pre-sales person, are able to fill these three, they should be hugged. And this is the bane of sales, B2B sales. We want to sell without answering these questions. Are you getting this, please? Are you getting the board deck three-point structure?
Yes, sir.
How many are using this? Are you answering these three questions in all your sales? If you are, then we should, congratulate you. And
They're absolutely not using it, sir.
okay. What about others?
Sometime one or two, not all three. Never.
Sometime one or two, but not all three. Okay. What about others?
We usually showcase the USPs of our product. So that is like, why do you have to choose our product? That is what we. So
lot of time you might be doing this. Why do client need it from you? Correct?
yes.
And what is the problem in that? If you don't answer these two, what is the problem?
Okay, so they do not realize the priority. Why now? Then they'll keep it for later.
Yeah. Also, see, in B2B sales, if you remember this word, it is not about me, it is about them. If you keep on repeating, it is not about me, meaning my company, me. It is about them. Because the other word, if I say service mindset, people will hear and forget.
Yes,
Service mindset.
that makes a difference.
Yeah, with the moment service mindset sounds good, तो समझ में नहीं आता, समझ के निकल जाता है. तो इसलिए if you keep on repeating, it is about them, and then about them, what is meaning of that? Answer these three questions. I can almost guarantee, besides political setups, there are always things which can happen in B2B sales. One phone will come from somewhere and something will happen. Correct?
Yes.
Those chances may be very less, 1 out of 1,000, if it happens. But otherwise, in majority, almost all cases, if you create this, sale is certain.
Sounds great. We'll definitely implement.
Yeah. So this is again power of small. You know why? When people talk to me on qualification, we have this methodology, that methodology. Oh, okay, very good. I tell my team also, everybody, you give me answer these three questions for me. Whichever way you want to answer in Word document, you want to answer verbally, you want to create PPT. Please answer these three questions now. If you answer these three questions confidently, and you have given this, what I call as Astra Shastra, to your client, then the client will sell to his or her board. Na? Do you think if you are a client and I have given you this, you will be able to sell this to your board or not? Chances are higher, isn't it?
So Amit, one doubt. So always it's really good to even keep their names, right? I mean, always when you send, usually you have the same template and you send the same thing to everybody. Like if it's like, why do why the solution and why now, and why from your company? So that is what you generally have.
Yeah. So this is, this is more inward, inward meaning this template is creating for internal review. But if you are sending to the client, you say, why do you need this solution? Why do you need it now? And why do you need it from your, or you can say why your company name is the partner of choice. See, you understand the drift of this is this. You can change the English.
No. I mean, what I specifically say, you generally have to take their names as well, right?
Yes.
Client names. Yeah.
Yes, client names. Yeah. So the drift of this is, you have to, Like instead of asking a question, if you are able to say, okay, these are the current needs this solution will solve, and then need it now. These are the benefits it will solve in the first 3 months. So need it now meaning this only now. If you don't do it, you are losing this much amount of money. So how you create the deck is left to you, to the client. But internally, I look at it from these three perspectives. Why do you need it? Why do you need it now? Why do you need it from this company? How am I partner of choice for you? But that question comes as third. Why, if this question comes first, what will happen? Same three questions, but if this question becomes first question, what will happen? Rapport will not be created. Rapport gets created in service mindset. When you serve people, as a human nature, they become amenable to you. So the first two elements are in service mindset. You are helping somebody. Third one is more your purpose. When somebody likes you, then they will, do the needful for you. But if you ask without liking and you start praising yourself, that's the problem. Therefore, the order is also important. Okay, folks. So with this, I have covered all the three sutras. Now, question for you. If you have to pick only one among the three sutras, which one will you implement? All three sutras are very good. All three are aligned with small is big. But if you have to pick only one, which is the most contextual to you, and you have to implement now, which one will you implement? Could you please type?
Amit, I'll go with option 3, last one.
Okay. Yeah, I would request everybody to please type, because this one I don't need explanation. It is basically the whichever, because the more you type, it will become easier. Okay, board deck. Okay, a lot of people have typed. 2 is okay. Yes. Sutra 2. Sutra 2 is one thing in sales. The first one, negotiation. Okay, very good. So we have a mix of people who have chosen different options. Very good. So I think we are towards the end of the conversation. Before we end, if you have any question, we have 15 more minutes. So last 5 minutes, I have a wish for you, which I will share with you, or 2 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can use this time, next 7 minutes, for any questions, please.
Amit, hi, this is Varun this side. Thank you for the informative session. I have one question regarding what normally do you say to answer the question, why us? I mean, the biggest problems that we face in a B2B sales is being a startup and small company.
I think, first of all, if a startup or anybody is not able to create a pitch for, why us should be the easiest. Is it the most refined or not? That's left for discussion. But why us should be easiest. Like if you notice, I'll tell you. I'll show you a live example. If you notice here, this is actually why me. I've purposely chosen only 3 things, and I've chosen things which are contextual to this discussion. I do meditation, I do a lot of things, but they may not be contextual to this discussion. I'm here as a sales expert. So, and IIT, I am alumni. I was sold in 23 countries across startups, and this. I'm author of 2 books, and I've coined the term Salespreneur and created use case selling strategy. This is more contextual to this session. Therefore, I've chosen this. If I'm going for a mindfulness, this thing, because my second book is not only about sales. So then I pitch differently.
No, okay. So what you're saying, I understand. Normally what we say is the USP of our products. But then what I've learned through all these years, features is not something the client is concerned about. It's the value or something that you bring? Why us as a company is what I'm asking. Do you have some context on what to generally what paths you take to answer that question, other than the product USPs and features?
Yeah, so this book, now the Ultimate Sales Accelerator, actually was written from that context. It actually releases this strategy called use case selling, and there is a one-liner: features don't sell, benefits sell sometime, use cases always sell.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so again, if you read this book, you will get a lot of context on pitching, on use cases. But the principle which I use typically whenever I use the principle of three. So if I have to say why myself or why my company, I will use three, and generally I use a Venn diagram. I use a Venn diagram of three boxes, and in those three boxes, those three things are, and which has to be very carefully chosen. And sometimes those three things might be different, for different client. But those three things, in fact, the entire think tank of the company, all the seniors, they should be contributing in creating that slide. Okay? So, but other than that, if you want to, the point which you mentioned, features don't sell and all, that is absolutely correct in my experience. In fact, I've written a quote on it in this book: features don't sell, benefits sell sometimes, use cases always sell. Right? So, I think, certainly. And the other thing, again, the word USP, I don't like. In fact, in this book, I have actually given a new word, which is called, instead of USP, it is UBP, unique buying point. Because USP is inward looking.
Yes.
What I am good at, my company is good at. Who cares, man?
Exactly.
Unique buying point. In fact, in this book, there's a table which compares USP and UBP and the Ultimate Sales Accelerator. This is generally never written. Everywhere in marketing, it was taught, USP. In my mind, maybe was required during those times. In now times where customer has, in that power window, customer is more informed. They almost know. They say 70% of sale is decided before the sale. In such a case, selling use cases, getting UBP, unique buying point, which will come from this board deck. Remember that board deck which we talked about? Because unless you understand why do you need it now and why do you need it, and I can tell you, I'm telling you, when some of, because I'm still a SVP in a company, correct? So I head sales. So when this is a very difficult skill. So I was going to meet a CMO, one of the largest banks in Asia. And I entered the room, and as you know, banks they have a lot of abundance in their offices, and a very large room. And there was 6 people sitting, and the person in the middle was the CMO, and 6 people were sitting on his right, and I was sitting on his left. And he was looking at me with a question mark that, why am I here? Without saying that, And again, very early stage startup, especially pivoted, so with difficult situation, and he was kind enough to give us that meeting. So then, and we were selling personalization software, personalizing customer experience on website, apps, on digital channels. Just like you can simplicity, you can imagine Amazon-like experience. So I went there, and he was looking at me, and then I said, Mr. CMO, can I ask you 3 questions? He looked at me, he said, yeah, sure. So I said, what is the number of unique visitors on your website? So he said, 12 million. I said, thank you very much. Second question, among these 12 million, can you identify existing customers on your website and new to bank customers on your website? He was taken aback like this. Not expecting it. And then he looked on his right, the 6 people, all SVPs and VPs. And he looked at them thinking of an answer, and they looked, their eyes were like this down. And then he looked at me in a state of little anger. Potentially he was angry on his team. And then I asked the third question, which made him very angry. I said, thank you can you personalize the experience of your existing customers on your website? So he shouted at me, literally. He said, what question is this? I just told you I can't even identify existing and new to bank customers. If I can't identify, how can I personalize? Done. That bank, I can't name the bank. That bank had SAS. That bank had IBM. Very prestigious bank. They have a lot of money. They have all the softwares. The problem is they were not solving those use cases. Therefore, my book actually starts with this conversation. Ultimate Sales Excellence, the first one. It starts with this. So what I found out is, in fact, there is a need framework, Mount Everest of needs, and I have done several workshops for that in NASCOM and all. We can do it separately, but if you want faster, then you can read the book. Yeah. So if you look at those 3 questions, I've actually asked. There are 3 kinds of needs. One is known needs, which are addressed, known needs which are met. The other is known needs which are unmet. Then there is unknown needs with resistance to change. And the 4th is unknown needs. A good sales organization, first of all, identifies all category of needs for its customers, especially resistance to change and unknown needs. A lot of times, most of the people keep on addressing unmet. Unmet तो उसको पता है ना, उसमें क्या चमत्कार है? वो CMO को, that CMO is such a high profile person. He's talking to a very small startup, but therein, how you talk. Therefore, I actually have coined the term the salespreneur. Also, I have also said that in complex B2B sales, especially in startups, 2 skills are required. One is expertise in the subject area on x-axis, and on y-axis, extraordinary communication. 4 quadrants: low, high, low, high. Did you understand? So 4th quadrant, if you have to pick a person in life, which one will you pick? The expertise is very high and communication is extraordinary. Which one will you pick in the 4th quadrant? Anybody, whether sales, life, wherever, pick a person, anybody.
Sales, obviously, for sales, at least communication. Subject matter expert, anyone can become.
What I was saying is, you have to address both subject matter expertise and communication. Now you have to pick a real life example. Pick a life example of a person who is high on both extraordinary expertise and extraordinary communication. Needn't be a salesperson. Pick a person just so that you remember.
Okay.
Anybody else can also pick. Steve Jobs was one person. He can speak on any topic like this because usko bahut pata tha wo area. Similarly, if I look at spiritual gurus.
But Steve Jobs was not a good salesman. I would pick up Narendra Modi on this.
Narendra Modi is another. Excellent. Narendra Modi, of course, everybody has a different choice. Narendra Modi, Sadhguru. Most of the people who are experts in that area and speak well, unfortunately, in sales, that doesn't happen. जहां पे सबसे ज्यादा होना चाहिए, इसलिए whenever I hire people, I say बस 18 मिनट प्रोडक्ट पिच करके दिखाओ मेरे को, 18 मिनट टेड टॉक. तो वो जो सेल्स में होता है ना, नहीं आप तो सेल्स पर्सन हो, अरे भाई क्या आपके कारण लोगों के घर में चूल्हे जलते हैं? There is no profession more noble than sales. It is unfortunate that the way it has been cultivated, na, where whining and dining, knowledge है नहीं, तो वो in at least there are now it is changing, or at least sessions like this are helping us challenge that setup where, in my mind, salesperson who is the face, it's like a soldier. The soldier has the best armory, na? Would you not send the best soldier who has the best armory to fight? Correct. The same thing as a salesperson. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Now hopefully it is happening slowly, one small step at a time. So I think in summary, I would say that this first of all, working on this thought process itself is very useful. The board deck is useful. The use case selling structure, which I have given the whole sales strategy, is very, very useful. If you implement 10 use case selling examples giving in the template, then it will become your habit. Okay? So sometimes, and challenging people also, because see, this is not normal style of sales. I can tell you, even in my current company, I tell them very clearly, I'm an expert first with a student mindset, an employee second. I'm not an employee first. I'm a sales expert with a student mindset first, because I have my way of working. This is how it will work. Student mindset, I will learn. Okay? But a lot of people are not, because they're used to selling features. Majority of people I have met are used to selling features, which nobody listens nowadays days.
Exactly. We've learned, we startup people can't afford extraordinary salesmen, so we learn the hard way. Mostly founders have to do the initial sales.
Right.
So one more question on this, a short one. Normally, what I've also seen in B2B sales, we are a cybersecurity. Most of us are selling.
Just 1 minute. I will copy paste these resources here. This is a link to my book, Small is Big. If you are interested, kindly purchase.
Sure.
Also my LinkedIn profile, and also Salespreneur YouTube channel. So these are the 3 resources. Remember the power of 3. So I've only given you 3 resources which will serve you the most.
Sure.
So this is go ahead with your question.
So my next question was, most of us have to run after B2B sales guys a lot. You meet them at one meeting, and then probably a month, 2 months, or 3 months goes by just going after them, calling them. They say, "Acha, baad mein," and about typically 2-3 months go by just calling up and chasing them. So do you think it's worth chasing them unless they give us a chance to showcase our product, give us and talk to us, or we should not waste our resources on this and pick up something else? What's your take on that?
I think for me it is very simple. First is that if somebody is not, because first of all, sales bandwidth is very precious. That's the reason. My short answer is, if you know that this buyer will not buy, and with whatever framework you have used to ascertain that, whether it is these 3 Ws, or there are several other things. There's a framework called MEDIC. There's several things, But if whatever framework you are using to ascertain whether the person is, first of all, is it part of your TAL, right buyer or not? And secondly, is the person ready to buy now or not, in now, 3 months, whatever? If your answer is that it will not happen, correct, then chasing that person is not of any use. The problem most of the time is that we are not sure of the second part. The TAL is relatively easier. That a lot of time, actually, that is also a problem. I have also seen certain people, even sometimes I have been said, this is the lead. Then I have to remind them, what is the criteria? 100 million in revenue. This is the 3 criteria. Are you satisfying this? Okay. But still, that can be solved once you tighten the screws little here and there. People will come to terms that, okay, TAL is TAL. I can't bring another lead. Okay. The second one, which is that, am I using the right structure to qualify these deals? Okay. Am I using the right structure? And then standing wide. That is the problem. Where the art part of sales comes, where there are structures. Like in my case, is something which I have not shared, deal scoring. I don't allow anybody to submit a proposal before the deal score is less than 75 out of 100. Clear. And it's very simple that, आपने किया क्या? आप B2B sales में हो ना, तो 75 नहीं ला पाए तो मत करो, कोड दे दो, proposal कैसे दे रहे हो? So this structured style of selling, having worked in.
What do you mean score? How do you score the deal?
वो अलग session है, okay. So अलग session है, of course. So there's a structure which I have built. But what I'm saying is, whichever framework you can use, MEDIC framework, you can use these 3W, or you can use deal score which I have created. If you use that structure and it becomes very objective, 75 है कि नहीं? If it is 75, then the person will buy. So I think those are the things which have to be. Sales में बहुत काम है वरुण जी, है ना, उसको बहुत आसानी से लिया जाता है.
I've learned it the hard way. It's not easy to make B2B sales. Minimum sales cycle, I'm realizing it's about 6 months.
So I fully echo that sentiment. It is hard, but yet उसमें जो joy है ना, जो purchase order दिखता है, तो वो joy जो है, जिस आदमी को वो joy दिखने लगे, तो वो जो problems है ना, वो असर नहीं करती, है ना, धीरे धीरे खत्म हो जाती हैं. तो so I think the joy of complex B2B sales, इसलिए when you go to my channel here, I have not played those videos, but this term I have given, Salespreneur, which says भाई क्यों, क्या है इसका मतलब? वो बंदा जो है Salespreneur, उसको मजा आता है कि मेरे काम के कारण जो इतने भी मेरे कलीग्स हैं, उनके घर में रोटी बनती है. वो इतना हायर कॉज होना चाहिए, तब आपको दर्द नहीं होगा कि ये क्या क्लाइंट ने मना कर दिया, क्योंकि आपका पर्पस इंसेंटिव नहीं है, आपका पर्पस हायर है. तो ये थॉट प्रोसेस थोड़ा अलग है, इसलिए मैं इतने सेशन करता हूँ. नेस्कॉम हर महीने में 1-2 सेशन कराता है, क्योंकि आई एम ऑन माय जर्नी ऑफ इवेंजलाइजिंग दिस स्टाइल ऑफ सेलिंग. ऑफ कोर्स my second book, Small is Big, touches on something else. It harnesses the power of small in all aspects of life, sales being one. Thank you, Varun, for raising very good question. You can kindly reach out to me on LinkedIn also if there is any question. Anything else, guys?
Do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to share my wish for you before we end the session. So my wish for you is this: may you close big deals by focusing on small. That is my wish. A lot of blessings and best wishes to each one of you. Please connect on LinkedIn. Please read the book Small is Big. If you get a chance, read the first book also. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amit, for your wonderful session. I would like to thank all the attendees. And please stay connected with Cybersecurity Centre of Excellence for further events. And for any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you and hope you stay connected.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit. And thank you, audience. You've been wonderful with all your questions and interactive session. Thank you so much.